So here we're going to have expressions with an absolute value in them. So the other cases that we'd had something like, what was the last one? 3x minus 1 is equal to 7. We had that absolute value was isolated before I did anything. So if we have something a little more complicated, like 2 absolute value of x plus 1 plus 3 equals 9, what I want to do is I want to isolate that absolute value. So what we need to do is we need to actually solve for the absolute value first. So that means that we're just going to take everything off of it and isolate it. So I'll write that again to the side here. But what we'd end up doing, I want that absolute value by itself. So we would do this just like if it was x. So I want to get rid of this 3. So I subtract 3 from both sides. And then I have 2 absolute value of x plus 1 equals 6. Then I would divide both sides by the 2. So I can get absolute value of x plus 1 equals 3. Once I have it down here, then I can actually solve the absolute value. No, that's what I want to do is isolate that because this I know how to solve. And we can get our 2 solutions. So a lot of things with math, what we do is we know one way to do it, and then we add some difficulty to the problem like we did here. And all we have to do is just go back to something we already knew how to do. We don't know necessarily how to solve this directly, but I do know how to solve the absolute value of x plus 1 equals 3. So if I can isolate that absolute value of x plus 1, then I can solve it. So all we're doing is we're doing things that we know how to do. We just work problems to that point where we know how to do it. Okay. So these are a couple of them. So some of them just have addition to worry about. And then you have addition and multiplication. And be careful because you might work on these and realize that some of these may not have a solution to them. So just take a moment and work on these. All right, well, so we're going to start with number 1, which is just absolute value of x plus 3 equals 8. So before I can even touch that absolute value, I need to isolate it. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. And I have absolute value of x equals 5. We've already did this one in an example, so that means that my 2 solutions are either x is equal to -5 or x is equal to +5. For me, we have absolute value of x minus 1 plus 7 is equal to 4. So I need to isolate that absolute value part again. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. And I'm going to have absolute value of x minus 1 is equal to -3. So instantly we have a problem here because we have absolute value equal to a negative number. So you could have a negative over here and it would be fine. Because we might be able to move something, it'll be positive. So it's when you get to this point where you isolate that absolute value, that's when you start assessing, do I have 1 solution, 2 solutions, or no solution? In this case, we have no solution. I'm debating if I'm going to fit C in here. I think I'm going to have to erase this and do C. All right, so that's why I was saying just be careful because you might think there's solutions and there's not. Could be, C should have a solution to it. So C, we have 6 absolute value of 1 minus x minus 3 equals 9. We want to isolate the absolute value. So first thing I'm going to do is add that 3 to both sides. And now I have 6. 1 minus x equals 12. Now I'm going to divide both sides by the 6. So this 6 is gone. And I have absolute value of 1 minus x is going to be equal to 2. So we have two options here. 1 minus x is equal to 2, or 1 minus x is equal to negative 2. So my two solutions could be, if I subtract 1 from both sides here, then I'm going to have negative x is equal to 1, or really x is equal to negative 1. If I subtract 1 from both sides here, I'm going to have negative x is equal to negative 3, or really just x is equal to 3. You can always go back and check. So if this was negative 1, so 1 minus minus 1 is 2, 6 times 2 is 12, minus 3 is 9. If we have the 3, so 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Absolute value makes it positive 2. 2 times 6 is 12, minus 3 is 9. But just, you can always go back and check it. So just holding up a second. I need to make a room here for D. So for D, we have 3, absolute value of x plus 1 equals 6. First, we're going to subtract the 1, and then I'm going to have 3, absolute value of x equals 5. Then we're going to divide by 3, and we're going to have absolute value of x is equal to 5 over 3. So I have two options here. X is either negative 5 over 3 or positive 5 over 3. So yes, your answers can be fractions. Okay. And E is going to take up some room here. So we're going to erase again. So E, we're going to have 5, absolute value of 2x minus 1 minus 8 equals 7. So isolate the absolute value, we'll add 8 to both sides. We have 5, absolute value of 2x minus 1 is going to be equal to 15. Divide both sides by 5. We get absolute value of 2x minus 1 is equal to 3. So I have two options for equations here. Either that 2x minus 1 in the absolute value is equal to the positive 3, or that 2x minus 1 in the absolute value is going to be equal to negative 3. And after do that, we'll just solve each one of my two equations that I have here. 2x minus 1 plus 3, add 1 to both sides. It's 2x equals to 4. Divide both sides by 2. We get x is equal to 2. The other side, we got 2x minus 1 equals negative 3. Add 1 to both sides. We get 2x is equal to negative 2. Divide both sides by 2. We get x is equal to negative 1. Negative 1 first, then the 2.